Hi guys, welcome to my first Reels video. Crazy, right? I cannot believe this is my first Reels video. I have spoken about Reels quite a few times in my other videos, but this is my first Reels dedicated video. And the reason why is because basically I've been spending some time trying to iron out my own personal Reels strategy. Reels are obviously here to stay. If you haven't watched this video where I talk about Instagram basically saying that Reels is their baby, it's their favorite thing in the world, and they're going to be pushing it, then I recommend watching it because it is useful to you if you're trying to grow in 2021. But essentially I'm trying to iron out my own Instagram Reels strategy. And as part of that, I'm obviously doing loads of research, and I've actually discovered loads of really interesting information about Reels, but specifically about Reels' algorithm. So that's what today's video is about. If that sounds of interest to you, please keep on watching, subscribe, because I upload content about entrepreneurship and social media every week. Let's get to it. Okay, so the first thing that I want to open with and talk about today, which I discovered about Reels, which I thought was really interesting, right? Obviously, Reels are really good at helping you grow. I wanted to figure out why are Reels good at helping you grow? Like, what is it about the Reels algorithm which is helping people blow up? Also, just a quick note in case you weren't aware, there are different algorithms for each of the different sections on Instagram. If you want a bit of information about the algorithm 101 and kind of how it works and what happens after you post, I recommend checking out this video because I talk about it in a bit more detail. But today, as I mentioned, I'm going to be specifically talking about the algorithm which is driving Reels, right? So what I discovered, which is really interesting about why Reels is so good at helping you grow, is because it runs on a similar premise to how the Explore page runs. So if we think about the Explore page, right, the essence of the Explore page is that it is going to be showing you content that Instagram thinks you are interested in from accounts that you do not currently follow. And that latter bit is the most important part, right? So if you engage with certain types of content, or if you engage with someone's profile but you don't follow them, when you go on your Explore page, you are going to see content from that person, because Instagram is using their algorithm and their bots to pick up on what you're interested in, and you've said to them, hey, I like this type of content, or hey, I potentially like this person's profile. So in return, Instagram is showing you more of that content. It's learned that from you, and its algorithm is therefore showing you that content. And it's going to keep on doing that until you eventually follow those people, right? So that's how the Explore page works. Its superpower is that it's showing you content from people that you don't already follow. Now, the Reels feature is similar to that in that the content you see when you are browsing Reels is almost exclusively from creators that you do not follow. So when you go on the Reels section and you scroll away, you are looking at Reels from people who you do not follow, which means that if you create a Reel that blows up or that what Instagram really likes, it is automatically going to push it to people who don't already follow you. Now, that is not the case with any of your other content unless it gets on the Explore page. With Reels, it doesn't even really need to get on the Explore page for that to be happening. It just needs to be somewhat noticed by Instagram's algorithm, which is what's going to push it out to more people. So for example, if you've been experimenting with Reels so far, you might have noticed that you've gotten some Reels which have gotten good reach, but they haven't necessarily blown up. And you're thinking, well, does this mean this Reel has gone on the Explore page because I have 2,000 followers and it was seen by 5,000 people? Now, that's not viral, so maybe it's not Explore page, but then how is it being viewed by so many more people? It's being viewed by so many more people because even though it may not have gone on the Explore page, it has hit the Reels algorithm, which meant that when people were browsing Reels, they saw your Reel. How many times have I just said Reel? Maybe I'll do a tally. It's like a drinking game. This could be a drinking game. Drink every time I say Reels. Please drink responsibly. So that is a bit of information that I picked up that I just thought was really great at providing a bit of context into what's going on the back end of Reels' algorithm. So I'm hoping that information frames the rest of this video and provides a bit of valuable context for you. Okay, so let's break down the Instagram Reels algorithm, the signals, what go behind them, and basically what happens when you post, right? So say you've just come up with a great Reel idea, you've captured the content, you've edited it, you've posted it, you're feeling really good. What is Instagram looking at, and how are they deciding whether or not that Reel is going to hit the algorithm, right? One of the first things they're going to look at is you. So they're going to look at you, they're going to look at your account, and they're basically going to analyze a few aspects of you and the type of content you create. So they're going to look at you and think, all right, how popular is this person? I hate to use that word because it just seems awful, but that's basically what they're going to look at. They're going to say, how popular is this person? What is their engagement rate like? I like to think that since they're using Reels to really help push smaller creators and help them grow, they're not just going to look at things like how many followers does this person have? Whilst if you do have loads, I'm sure that is going to come into account. I also think that they're going to look at things like what your engagement rate is. So say if you are a small creator, but your engagement rate is actually really high, this is something they're going to take note of, and they're going to factor that in when they're deciding whether or not they're going to push out your Reel. Now, another thing that they're going to look at, and another thing which they see as like an algorithm signal, is the Reel itself. Specifically things like how high quality is the reel. Does the reel include a watermark? For example, that pesky TikTok watermark. If it does, just don't even count on it doing well. It's not going to happen. Instagram's bots are going to pick up on it and they're never going to push a piece of content which has blatantly been repurposed from one of their biggest competitors. It's just not going to happen. So they're going to look at things like how high quality is the video? Does it have a watermark on it like I just mentioned? Does it use trending audio? Does it have things like captions in it? They're looking at all of that and they're using that to decipher, okay, is this a high quality reel? Is this reel going to do well if we push it out to more people? The next thing they're going to look at is the engagement on the reel. So the reel's gone out, it's live, and now they're going to be looking for signals and cues to tell the algorithm that actually people are responding really well to this. So are people liking this? Are people sharing it? Are people commenting, etc.? Interesting fact, Instagram actually have a survey, which I have never been fortunate enough to be part of, which is a shame. If you have, can you comment below? Because I'm really curious to know exactly what they've asked. Like if you do become part of the survey at some point in the future, screenshot what they're asking you and send it to me on Instagram because I'm very curious. But they basically have this survey where they ask a bunch of questions to Instagram users and they actually use the answers to these questions to figure out whether people find specific reels entertaining or funny. And they apply their findings across all these other reels to figure out whether or not that reel was going to be entertaining, funny, and therefore well received. So that's just a fun fact for you guys. Maybe fun's too strong of a word. And the final thing that they're going to look at actually has nothing to do with you. So this is when they've gone through all these other signals and they've thought, okay, this is a really high quality reel. There's no watermarks on it. It's got trending audio. People are engaging with it well. I'm going to push this reel out to more people. So the final step is actually figuring out who they're going to push it out to. And this basically involves analyzing other users' behaviors. So has this potential account, what they're potentially going to push this reel out to, have they engaged with similar content? And how they know whether or not the content is similar is by analyzing things like the hashtags you're using, the keywords on your post, that's why captions are so important, and stuff like that. So has this potential person engaged with similar content, or has this person engaged with your content in the past? And if the answer is yes to either of those, Instagram are going to push your reel out to them because you've passed all those other tests and Instagram have decided that your reel is worthy of their amazing almighty algorithm. And that's basically what happens. So I'm hoping that me providing that information, which I've learned through all my research, is going to help anyone out there who's in a similar position to me, who is basically trying to iron out their own Reels strategy. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, I recommend checking out this one. It's all about how you can gain more reach on your Instagram posts. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I will see you in my next video.